Well, first of all, Vartan, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's a real honor to be here with you and to share with your audience about my new book, Leading Gracefully, um, which is right here.
Beautiful.
It's called A Woman's Guide to Confident, Authentic, and Effective Leadership. And the reason I wrote the book was when I was working in the corporate world. I spent about 10 years working in different roles in marketing in Silicon Valley. And as a young manager, it was really hard to find role models that I looked up to, that I thought that, I could really learn from. And so I felt really alone and I didn't have a lot of guidance to learn how to, be a good manager. They don't teach you that stuff in university. And so I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn by just making a lot of mistakes and trying new things. And really, the turning point for me in my career was an opportunity I had to take a higher position in the company I was working for. And suddenly I was in charge of a very big project. It was a conference, the big company conference for 10,000 people.
Wow.
And so, I volunteered for this role because it was a higher position. I would get promoted, I'd make more money. But then I realized, oh my God, I've never done anything like this before. And I have all this responsibility. How am I going to lead this? Right? And so I had a tough decision to make. I had to decide, was I going to show up like my previous boss, who, let's say she was more of a controlling manager, she was more of a micromanager, she liked to have the control, or was I going to be a different type of manager that really was more collaborative?
Mhm.
So I decided to do the second option because I felt like that was more authentic to who I was. I like to work with people. I like to build relationships. I like to collaborate. So I thought, I'm going to do it a different way. And this was a big risk because, I didn't know if it was going to work. So I'll never forget the day I walked in to a big meeting with all of the executives who were on my team. They were there to help me.
Mhm.
And I went and I looked at them and I said, guys, I've never done this before. And I don't know how to do this. This is a huge undertaking, 10,000 people. I've never done it. And you know what? I need your help.
Okay. You asked for help.
I asked for help. And there could have been two things that happened that day. They could have either laughed in my face
Mhm.
and fired me, or they could do what they did, which is stepped up to the plate and actually helped me. And just by being vulnerable, asking for help, which I think a lot of people have a problem with, it's not easy to ask for help,
Mhm.
especially for women.
Mhm.
I think it's very difficult to ask for help sometimes. We want to show that we know everything, that we're capable, that we're smart. So it's hard to ask for help. So it was really tough for me, and I didn't know what the result would be. But the result was that all of the people on my team stepped up. I empowered them to take the responsibility, and we worked together as a team to make this a very big success. And it was a huge success. It was the best run conference that the company had done. And people came up to me afterwards, after we'd finished and everything was a success. The people who worked for me came to me and they said, working with you was a breath of fresh air.
Already, I can feel anybody who would see this video is going to be very excited, will want to show up on March the 10th at the HBU Center in New
Yes.
York, and they have a limited seating. I don't know, maybe you can come twice, three times. Who do you expect? Who do you think would benefit from your lecture?
Women who are really looking to get to the next level in their career, whether you're a woman in the corporate world or a woman business owner, I think you could really benefit from
Mhm.
coming to this lecture if you're looking for different tools on how to be a better leader, better manager, on how
Mhm.
to gain more confidence in yourself. Because confidence is a huge deal for women. I don't know if you know that,
Absolutely.
but I just spoke at the Microsoft Global Women's Conference in
Beautiful.
Seattle, where they launched my book,
Beautiful.
and I gave a presentation about self-confidence. And I struggled a lot with my own challenges with self-confidence growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to really work hard to gain that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And people came up to me, these women came up to me afterwards, and they said, I really needed these tools. It's very hard for me to present myself, to talk about my skills, to ask for a promotion, all those
Mm-hmm.
things that can be very challenging, but without the confidence, it's really hard to get.
What is it? Tell us something about your background. Many of your friends who are will be attending the AGBU lecture on the March the 10th would like to know more about you, your Armenian background, and I think you have dedicated the book to your grandma or mom,
My great grandmother,
great
Marisa.
grandma. Tell me something about great grandma. Why great grandma?
So, my great grandmother, although I never met her, I feel like I knew her very well through all the stories that
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother and my mom and all my aunts told me about her. She is a survivor of the Armenian genocide,
Where were they from?
and from Marash.
That makes two of us.
There you go. So, as Marash was hit very heavily, and my great grandmother lost her entire family. She was sent into Derzor with two children. Only one survived,
Mm-hmm.
and she almost died in Derzor until one night she decided to escape. There were a group of men who were planning to escape by night, and she begged them to join their group. And they said to her, you have a child, we cannot accept you. You'll hold us back, and you'll be like a liability, so you cannot come. Somehow she convinced them to go with them, and she escaped Deir Zor by walking through the desert with her child at night for many, many days until she got to Aleppo.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how she survived. And so, of course, she was a very strong woman, but she must have had such a strong faith. She had to have so much conviction and that strong will to get through that situation. And I always think of her when I have moments of doubt or worries or feeling like, I cannot do something. I always channel my great grandmother, because I know that that's my blood.
Is there anything else you would like to add in closing?
No, I really want to thank the AGBU. I was an intern in the summer
Really?
internship program back in 1999, and it was such a transformative experience for me. I made lifelong friends, and AGBU has always been there for me. They've always supported me, and so it's such a pleasure to come back and present my book at AGBU, and so it's just really nice circle.
It's the most enjoyable talking to you. You're so much full of life and so much energy and so much confidence. I hope you can project that on March the 10th and give good advice to many people who need that advice.
Thank you, Vartan. Also, if people are interested, they can go to moniquetallon.com, Monique, T as in Tom, Allon as in Nancy. And they'll learn more about me and my coaching programs, and also more about my book. And my book is also available on Amazon if people are interested to purchase the book.
We wish you all the best, Monique. Good luck.
Thank you so much.